June is National Safety Month, and it's a good time to talk about what risks we face this time of year. This season, some safety issues worth mentioning are heat-related illnesses, traffic crashes, overdoses, and quite a few more. This month, the National Safety Council is raising awareness for not only these issues, but also how to stay safe and prevent them. Joining me now is Lorraine Martin, President and CEO of the National Safety Council. Good morning, Lorraine. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's jump right in here. First off, can you start by telling us about the National Safety Council?
Yeah, thank you, Andy. The National Safety Council was formed over 100 years ago, primarily to make sure that folks around our nation have the tools and the resources to keep themselves safe, to make sure that they can prevent injuries and deaths that they might face in their daily lives or at work. And we're an organization, a nonprofit organization that's here to serve and provide those resources, whether you're on the job or off the job.
And we mentioned heat-related illnesses, traffic crashes. What other types of hazards should we be looking out for this time of year?
Well, before I get to those others, I'd like to stop on the heat one because I know we're in Houston here today and the weather has been super hot, and it's so important that we understand that heat illness can sneak up on you very quickly. It can also be deadly. Over 100 people, either on or off their job, lose their lives every year because of heat illness. And we also know that some 40 children, unfortunately, die in hot cars every year. So it's so important that if we want to prevent things that can come to harm, especially in the summer months, that we focus on heat illness and we make sure that we rest, we get liquids and hydrate, and we get to the shade. And especially in Houston with the weather that we've had recently and some of the, our loved ones out there working in the heat, it's so important that we focus on that.
Yeah, understanding and recognizing the signs of heat distress are so critically important, especially this time of year in the Houston area. We talk about safety heroes. Can you share ways that viewers can be safety heroes this summer?
Everybody can be a safety hero by telling their story. And unfortunately, we all have a story of someone who's been injured or even worse, lost their lives. You can go to nsc.org and share your story on something we call Safety is Personal, because if it's anything, it's personal. And we really appreciate safety heroes not only setting an example for themselves, their loved ones, but unfortunately, when they do have something, to share that story so that we can all learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else that we love.
And I want to go back for a second here to some of the issues that we could face. We also mentioned traffic crashes. How do you prevent those, and what are some of the ways that we can stay safe regarding those?
Yeah, in the summer months, Andy, it's really important to think about that, because those months between Memorial Day and Labor Day are the most deadly on our roads, and our roads themselves have become more deadly over the last couple of years. In 2022 alone, we lost 46,000 individuals. That would be like a regional jet crashing every day and 100 people on board dying. That's what we're losing on our roadways these days. So what do you do to prevent that? Thank you for the question. You do the things that we know keep you safe. You wear your seatbelt, you don't speed, you don't drive impaired, and you don't drive distracted. And you help the ones you love do the same, especially your teens, because that's a very high risk for our teens on the roads.
Yeah, distracted driving especially is such a big problem all over. Where can folks go for more information?
Go to nsc.org and we can get you tips for parents for helping their kids with driving, for defensive driving classes if you'd like to hone up on what it really means to drive well on our dangerous roadways. And the last thing that I'd like to share on tips that you can get, Andy, is around our opioid crisis. And we are having significant number of preventable overdoses in our country right now. The overdoses right now exceed the number of crashes we have. So you're more likely to die of an unintended overdose than you are of a crash on a roadway these days. That's just such an alarming fact for me to share. But the thing I would ask everyone to take home with them is to get an understanding of this life-saving, over-the-counter medicine that's going to be available to reverse an opioid overdose called naloxone or a product like that. make sure it's in your first aid kits in work. Make sure it's in your first aid kits in your schools and your churches and wherever you congregate, and make sure you're trained on how to use it. It's so important that we have this on hand to be able to save a life.
Yeah, when you put it in a context like that, the statistics are staggering, and so many safety issues to be top of mind. Lorraine Martin, President and CEO of National Safety Council, appreciate your time and your insight this morning.